Hello friends, it's time for an update on the Glock 43X. I fired about 1,500 rounds through this thing, 1,520 to be exact, so let's take a look at how the gun has held up. Typically, I wait until I've hit 3,000 rounds with a pistol to do one of these updates, but the 43X is a smallish carry pistol, and most of us aren't going to shoot a ton of rounds through a gun in this size class. Or at least not as many as something larger like a 19 or a 17, or my beloved Glock model 45. But this gun, I don't know, if there was ever a compact gun you were going to shoot loads and loads of rounds through, this would definitely be the one, and I'm still going to do a 3,000 round update. But all the same, here we are at 1,500. This is a very enjoyable pistol to shoot, and unlike a lot of other compact pistols, I find myself very much looking forward to taking this thing to the range. For me, firing most compact pistols, including the original Glock 43, is like going to the DMV. I know I have to do it, but I really want to get that shit over with so that I can get on with my day. Not so with the 43X. A couple of range trips, this was the only thing I took with me, and that's pretty rare for a gun in this size class. And I like it so much I bought 6 extra mags with it. And hell, I don't even do that for some of my CZs. The 43X, probably thanks to the silvery slide, gets a lot of attention at the range. Folks who have been living under a rock like a bearded dragon with an alcohol problem think it's some sort of custom pistol, and folks who actually have internet access say, wow, I didn't realize the 43X looks that cool in person. Everybody wants to shoot it, and everybody who shoots it has the same reaction, that the extra length on the grip really makes this gun feel amazing. That's the only word for it. It's just awesome. This is one of the most delightfully comfortable guns in its size class. So let's take a look at how the gun is held up. But first, a shameless plug. If you like my videos, please consider supporting me on Patreon. YouTube is no supporter of the Second Amendment, and as you can imagine, my channel was denied monetization. Between the guns, knives, cursing, and the political discussions, I'm not the sort of channel that YouTube wants, so I need your help. Right now, I upload 4 times a month sporadically, and your help would let me put out more content more often, and better content as well. Thank you for the support, and back to the show. How has the 43X performed? As you would expect from a Glock, or really any high-quality modern firearm, the 43X has not malfunctioned at any point during the 1,520 rounds that it fired. The gun has been cleaned twice, and its most recent cleaning was about an hour ago. I treat guns badly because it gives me more information about their reliability. This thing has been cleaned so infrequently, there's probably still a little bit of that copper grease residue left in there. Speaking of, let's take a look inside. We'll start with the barrel. Yeah, there's some wear on the hood, as you would expect to see. That's totally normal. And then there's also some wear where the barrel is riding inside the slide there. We see some wear on the frame rails, but it's held up really well. You can see there's wear where the hood of the barrel is actually riding inside the slide too. And yeah, there's the wear on the firing pin safety plunger too. That's pretty normal. This newer firing pin safety plunger design from Glock does seem to wear a little bit faster than the older one, and I'm seeing that's definitely the case on the 43X as well. It's not drastic. I feel that wear a little bit more on my Glock 45, but it's definitely there, and it is happening. And I replace these every few thousand rounds or so, not because you have to, but I just think it makes the trigger feel nicer, so I do it. Everything else looks totally normal, just what I would expect from a high-quality gun that's fired 1,500 rounds. Let's look at the frame. The frame looks barely used. That's held up really, really well. I hope you can actually see this. I can't see what you're seeing, so I'm just kind of waving it around all over the place, hoping that I get it in front of the camera. I'm very impressed with how little wear this gun shows. Let's compare it to another Glock that was made just a few months prior. This part comes with a disclaimer, however, because Glock people get very, very weird and frankly hostile anytime you criticize anything related to Glock. So my 43 hasn't shown nearly as much wear as my Glock Model 45. Both are very recent guns, but the 45 showed far more wear at 1,500 rounds. And I pointed this out in my update video about the Glock 45, and a few folks absolutely lost their shit about it, alternating between intense anger and condescending explanations of how pistols wear. Metal on metal wears, apparently. Wow, holy shit. Though I'll be the first to admit that I am very, very dumb. This isn't my first one of these pistol things, and the 45 and a few of the other Gen 5 Glocks that my friends own do show far more wear than specifically the Gen 3s that I've seen and owned, and now this Glock 43X. So I don't care if it makes you mad. It's the truth. I have no idea if they all do it, but mine and a few other local ones do. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the 45. So, looking inside it, the barrel is wearing the same way as the 43. That looks completely normal. No problems there. That's exactly what I would expect to see. But the amount of wear, if I scrape it away inside where the barrel hood rides, that's more than I would expect to see. This gun's had about 4,000 rounds through it, and that's kind of a lot of wear. I don't think this is coming through the camera, but there's bare metal in places, and it's coming off in kind of a strange pattern as well. Let me see if I can get you a better view of it. You know what? I'll actually just take some photos. It's really strange, but I'm showing you this to show you how much less the 43X is wearing, because I had read online some folks were concerned that the coating that they used was not going to hold up, and I've felt it to be very, very durable. So it's worth noting with the Glock 45, none of the wear that we just looked at in any way affects the operation of the gun. That's completely fine. Though greater than average, it's not going to affect how the gun works. That's an important thing to note. But the 43X, it's going to spend a lot of its life exposed to your sweat, pressed very close to your body, and a durable finish is going to help safeguard the gun against corrosion. So that's why it's important that we're seeing far less wear from this thing. So let's put it back together. And again, before any of you Glock people have a stroke, I'm not saying that the 45 or the Gen 5 finishes suck. The 45 is my favorite Glock ever, but I have to point out when I see something that's just not quite right. Also, if you've had the 43X for a while now, I'd like to hear from you. How is your finish holding up? If you've shot more than 1,500 rounds through yours, how's it doing? And have you enjoyed your 43X as much as I have? Right out of the box, the 43X has my favorite Glock trigger. The Gen 5 trigger on the larger Glocks are outstanding, but it has more of a rolling break with a less defined wall than the 43X. Let's actually take a look at that. So we see with the 45, there's our wall, and we kind of just push through it. It's an amazing feeling trigger. It's prior to feeling the 43X, this was the best stock Glock trigger that I had ever felt, but it is kind of a rolling break. Now, there's an advantage to that sort of style of break and feel. It makes the trigger feel as though it's substantially lighter. So that's a pleasant side effect. The 43X has a very crisp wall, well-defined, with a very clean break. It might make it feel a little bit heavier, but it's the best trigger ever to leave the Glock factory that I've ever felt, even better than the other Gen 5s. But has this trigger changed as it's broken in? Just a little bit. The wall has a little bit of creep in it now. It's not quite as crisp. You can kind of see that play there. But the side effect of that is the trigger also feels a little bit lighter than it did when I got the gun. So that's pleasant. And I'm not one of those folks who swaps triggers on guns. Usually with pistols, I just leave them alone. I'll swap an AR-15, but usually not pistols. And with a stock trigger like this, it's exciting. It'd be tough to improve upon this one anyway, other than just making it lighter. But for a carry gun, I wouldn't really want to go any lighter than this personally. So I can't say enough good things about this gun, especially in terms of its shooting performance. The longer grip and that awesome trigger makes for a gun that I shoot damn near as well as a full-size gun, but it carries like something far smaller, obviously, because it is. And I bought this extra pile of magazines with it because I noticed that I was taking it to the range with my rifle and chest rig and running it in place of a big gun and not sacrificing anything other than capacity. Coupled with a rifle, any pistol is a last-ditch get out of a bad situation gun. The one you reach for when the aliens are chasing you through the air vents. So you don't really need a huge, heavy thing. We feel more comfortable with those sorts of guns, but they probably aren't necessary. Hopefully you won't have to reach for your pistol anyway, and something like the 43X saves a ton of weight and space. I'm not saying it's going to replace my Beretta or my Glock 45 in that role, but I'm certainly toying with the idea, and it seems to work so far. Being so short and light, there is a little bit more muzzle flip, especially with hot plus P plus loads, but you adjust to it almost immediately, and you'll notice that your times aren't much worse with the 43X than something like a 19. Once I get warmed up, I'm about 15% slower with the 43X than I am with a 19. This gun just works. The grip texture, when I first got it, I'd worried that I would want more grip texture as time passed, but that hasn't been the case. It's this perfect blend of grip and comfort, and I'd imagine that this wouldn't irritate your skin if you had it riding against your bare flesh all day. A small thing, but it matters, the shape of the grip, this undercut trigger guard, the width of the grip, it's just comfortable. Just fits my hand extremely well. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just my physiology, but I find this gun to be more pleasant to hold than many full-size guns. It's comfortable in the same way that a 1911 is comfortable, only unlike a 1911, this gun actually runs. What will I change about the 43X? I'm definitely going to swap the sights. I don't hate the standard Glock sights at all. I actually like them. They work really well for me, but they aren't night sights. So like my Glock 45, this one will get a set of orange Trijicon HD XRs. I hope you can see those. They're quite beautiful. That orange is very striking. Those are my favorite night sights, the perfect blend of visibility and precision. I haven't found a better set of sights anywhere. As I've used this gun, though, there are a few things that I wish Glock had changed a little bit. Initially, I didn't care that the gun doesn't have an accessory rail. The frame isn't wide enough for a 1913 rail, and it leaves the front smooth and snag-free. Always a good quality in a gun you plan to carry. But like we discussed earlier, this gun can damn near function as your super cool Apocalypse pistol, once Alexa gains sentience and the Alexa human war begins. So Shield Arms is currently working on a metal flush-fit 15-round magazine. Yes, you heard that correctly, 15 rounds. A pistol this small and light with a 15-round capacity, that'd leave you able to do damn near anything that most service pistols can do. You can shoot a lot of Alexas with 15 rounds. Viewing this pistol in that light, it really needs an accessory rail. Glock didn't design it with that sort of use in mind, but it's a testament to the gun's greatness that I'm talking about it now. I hear you saying it's not wide enough for an accessory rail, dum-dum. Yes, but Glock could have designed a small little rail just for this gun. Glocks are so popular that light companies, they would make models that would work with it. At a minimum, they would build adapters for their existing models. Right now, there's a Streamlight option, but that's about it as far as I know, and it's not a very exciting light. I want a nice Surefire or Enforce personally. However, that's just preference. You might love the Streamlight. Final thoughts. This is a great gun. It's easy to shoot well. It's durable with rock-solid reliability. In other words, it's a Glock. But this, like some of the other recent models, breaks with the perception that Glocks are unexciting utilitarian guns offering little aesthetic value or shooting pleasure. Appearance matters. Shooting pleasure matters. The 43X is a great-looking gun with a comfortable grip and an excellent trigger. I very much look forward to shooting this gun, and that excitement is reflected in the numbers. Compared to other small guns like the SIG P365, for instance, I get better hits with the 43X, and I get them faster. My reloads are faster, and I'm quicker on the draw. A gun that you like to use is a gun that you'll practice with more often. Is the 43X perfect? No, it's not. But it's one of the best options in its class, and thanks to an excellent design, it might not belong strictly in one class at all. In much the same way that the Glock 19 has become many things to many people, a service pistol to some, a carry gun to others, and a home defense gun to still more, the 43X might not stay a small carry gun as the aftermarket develops, especially with the coming Shield Arms 15-round magazine. In 10 years, the 43X might be a small, convenient, lightweight service pistol, a home defense gun, with an optic and maybe a competition gun for a young person or someone with small hands. It's early yet to tell, but the 43X is an outstanding pistol with far more potential than I had realized when I first picked one up. As I sit and film this, I can't wait to take this gun back to the range, and there's no higher compliment than that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.